My girlfriend said, "You're too clingy. I need a man who gives me space," after I asked about her girls' night. I said, "Consider it done." The next morning, her phone service was cut, her gym access denied, and her Netflix password changed. She got plenty of space from me, my wallet, and my Wi-Fi in full HD. I, 32M, had been dating her for 3 years when everything fell apart over a simple question about girls' night. Looking back now, I can see all the signs I ignored, but hindsight is always crystal clear when you're standing in the wreckage of what you thought was a solid relationship. We met at a marketing conference in Chicago. She was working in event management, and I had just landed a senior position at a tech company with a salary that finally reflected the decade I'd spent grinding my way up. The connection felt instant, effortless. Within 6 months, she had moved into my condo downtown. I paid the mortgage, but she contributed to groceries sometimes, and I never thought twice about it. Love isn't supposed to be transactional, right? The first year was good. Great, even. We traveled, went to concerts, spent weekends trying new restaurants. I covered most expenses because I earned significantly more, and she always seemed grateful. She would thank me for dinner, for the weekend getaways, for the little surprises. It felt natural to take care of someone I loved. Year 2 brought subtle shifts. Her event management job became increasingly demanding, or so she said. More late nights, more weekend conferences, more networking events. I understood the hustle. I had lived it myself. When she mentioned wanting to join an upscale gym to maintain her professional image, I added her to my family plan without hesitation. When she asked about streaming services because her Netflix had expired, I shared all my accounts. My phone plan had unlimited everything, so adding her line cost me almost nothing extra. These were small gestures that made her life easier. But somewhere in year 3, gratitude transformed into expectation. The thank yous became less frequent. The consideration became one-sided. I started noticing how she would make plans without checking with me first, then get irritated when I asked basic questions about her schedule. I wasn't trying to control her movements. I just wanted to know if I should make dinner reservations or plan something for us. The breaking point came on a Thursday evening in October. I had gotten home early from work, something rare given my project deadlines. I was looking forward to a quiet night together, maybe ordering from that Thai place she loved. When I walked in, she was getting ready to go out. Full makeup, the expensive perfume I had bought her for her birthday, wearing the dress that made heads turn. I asked her what her plans were for the evening. She mentioned girls' night without looking up from her phone. I asked which friends she was meeting, genuinely curious because she had been distant with most of her college friends lately. That question triggered something in her. She spun around and told me I was being controlling. I tried to explain I was just making conversation, trying to stay connected to her life. She cut me off and said I was too clingy, that she needed a man who could give her space. The words hit differently than previous arguments. There was a coldness in her tone, a finality. I stood there in my own living room, in the condo I paid for, being told I was suffocating her by asking a basic question about her evening plans. Something clicked in my head, a clarity I had been avoiding for months. I told her to consider it done. She would have all the space she needed. She laughed, actually laughed, and said I was being dramatic. Then she grabbed her purse and left. I heard her car pull out of the garage, the one I paid the insurance on. I didn't sleep that night. I sat in my home office and started reviewing our relationship with the same analytical approach I used for business problems. The pattern was unmistakable once I forced myself to see it. I was financing her lifestyle while she was pulling away emotionally. Every subscription, every bill, every convenience she enjoyed was connected to my accounts, my credit cards, my income. And in return, I was getting accusations of being clingy for wanting basic communication. I opened my laptop and started making changes. My phone carrier had an online portal where I could manage all lines on my family plan. I removed her number at 2 a.m., effective immediately. The gym membership was through my corporate wellness program. I sent an email to HR requesting her removal, citing end of relationship. They processed it within hours since it was technically a violation for non-family members anyway. Every streaming service, from Netflix to Hulu to HBO Max, I changed the passwords. My home Wi-Fi password got updated. I even called my car insurance and had her removed as an authorized driver on my vehicle policy. I wasn't being petty. I was establishing boundaries she claimed to want. She wanted space from me, and now she had space from everything I provided too. She came home around 1 p.m. the next day. I had taken a personal day from work, something I rarely did, but I wanted to be present for this conversation. She looked tired, her makeup smudged, still wearing the same dress from the night before. She tried to use her key, but I had changed the locks that morning. When she knocked, confused and irritated, I opened the door but didn't step aside to let her in. She asked what was going on with an edge of annoyance in her voice. I explained calmly that I had given her the space she requested. She stared at me like I was speaking another language. I detailed every change I had made overnight. As I listed each one, I watched her expression shift from confusion to disbelief to anger. She tried to tell me I was being ridiculous, that I was overreacting to one comment. I disagreed. I told her the comment revealed how she really felt about our relationship and about me. If basic communication felt like clinginess to her, then we had fundamentally different ideas about partnership. She attempted to backtrack, saying she had been stressed and didn't mean it that way. I asked her directly why she had stayed out all night if it was just girls' night. The silence that followed told me everything I needed to know. She tried a different approach, softening her voice and reaching for my hand. She said we could talk about this, work through it. I pulled my hand back and told her there was nothing to work through. I had spent 3 years trying to build something with someone who saw me as a resource rather than a partner. She protested, listed things she had done for me, but they were all surface level. Picking up my dry cleaning once when she was already going. Making dinner sometimes with groceries I bought. Nothing that required genuine sacrifice or investment on her part. I told her she had until the end of the week to collect her belongings. I would be staying at a hotel to avoid drama. She started crying then, real tears, saying she had nowhere to go. I reminded her she had friends and family in the city. She could figure it out the same way millions of adults do when relationships end. I wasn't going to be manipulated by tears after being taken for granted for months. She left, and I started packing a bag for the hotel. My phone blew up within hours. Her friends, the ones she supposedly had girls' night with, started messaging me, calling me controlling and abusive. I didn't engage. I simply screenshot our conversation from the night before and sent it to each person who contacted me, along with a message explaining I had only removed her access to services I paid for after she said she needed space. Then I blocked them all. Her mother called me 2 days later. That conversation was harder. I had always liked her mother, and she had always been kind to me. She tried to convince me that her daughter loved me and that couples fight. I explained this wasn't about one fight. It was about a pattern of disrespect and taking advantage of my generosity. Her mother went quiet for a moment, then asked what her daughter had done the night of the fight. I told her honestly that I didn't know, but she had stayed out all night and came home in the same clothes. Her mother thanked me for being honest with her and apologized for her daughter's behavior. That call ended with her wishing me well, and I could hear the disappointment in her voice. Update 1. A week after she moved out, I got a call from an unknown number. Against my better judgment, I answered. It was him, the guy she had been with that night. He asked if we could meet for coffee because he needed to tell me something. Every instinct told me to refuse, but curiosity won. We met at a neutral coffee shop across town. He was younger than me, maybe 27 or 28, worked in the same industry as her. He looked uncomfortable, kept fidgeting with his cup. He told me they had been seeing each other for about 4 months. He said he hadn't known about me initially. She had told him she was single. He only found out about our relationship when he saw a photo on her social media that she forgot to make private. When he confronted her about it, she told him we were basically roommates, that the relationship was dead and she was planning to leave. He believed her because he wanted to. They continued seeing each other, and she would tell him she was working late or having girls' night. That Thursday night, they had gone to a hotel. She told him she was finally ending things with me. When she came back the next day and found herself locked out, she called him crying. She told him I had kicked her out violently, destroyed her things, and that she needed money. He sent her $500 before he started having doubts. He did some digging, talked to mutual acquaintances, and realized she had lied about everything. He reached out to me because he felt guilty and wanted me to know the full truth. He also wanted to warn me that she was telling people I had been abusive, trying to paint herself as the victim. I thanked him for his honesty. I didn't blame him. He was lied to just like I was. Before we parted ways, I asked him one question. I asked if he was still seeing her. He shook his head and told me he ended it the moment he realized she was a liar. He said he wanted something real, not whatever game she was playing. That conversation confirmed what I suspected but had tried not to believe. The clinginess accusation was projection. She wanted freedom to see him without my questions getting in the way. The space she needed was an emotional breathing room. It was room to cheat without inconvenient accountability. I contacted a lawyer that afternoon. I wanted documentation of everything in case she escalated the abuse allegations. My lawyer advised me to gather evidence, so I compiled bank statements showing every expense I covered, texts showing her responses when I asked basic questions about her schedule, and character references from friends and coworkers. I also got a statement from the guy she cheated with confirming her lies. My lawyer said it was overkill for a girlfriend situation, but better to have protection if she tried to damage my reputation professionally. 2 weeks after she moved out, she showed up at my office. Security called me before letting her up, and I told them to send her away. She caused a scene in the lobby, crying and demanding to talk to me. My boss heard about it and called me into his office. I explained the situation briefly, showed him the restraining order paperwork I had started filing, and he assured me the company would support me. They upgraded building security protocols regarding visitor access. She was officially banned from the premises. Update 2. A month passed quietly. I threw myself into work, picked up old hobbies I had neglected, reconnected with friends I had lost touch with. People kept asking if I was okay, and honestly, I was better than I had been in over a year. There's a specific kind of peace that comes from removing chaos from your life. Then social media exploded. She posted a long statement about surviving financial abuse, about being trapped by someone who controlled every aspect of her life through money. She didn't name me directly, but anyone who knew us would know exactly who she meant. The post went viral in our local community, got shared hundreds of times. Her comments filled with support from strangers who believed her narrative. I got messages from people I barely knew, some calling me disgusting, others defending me because they knew the real story. My initial instinct was to respond publicly, to defend myself, to share my side. My lawyer strongly advised against it. Instead, he suggested we send cease and desist letters to her and anyone publicly defaming me with false information. But I'm not built to just take hits without responding. I created a simple timeline document. No emotional language, just facts with supporting evidence. Dates I paid bills with bank statements. Screenshots of texts where she thanked me for covering expenses. Photos of gifts I bought her. The statement from the guy confirming her affair and lies. Character references from friends who witnessed her behavior. I posted it on my social media with a single caption explaining that truth matters and false accusations have consequences. The response was instant and divided. Half the people apologized and admitted they had judged too quickly. The other half doubled down, saying I was proving her point by airing private matters publicly. I didn't engage with either side. I said my piece with evidence and moved on. Her post disappeared within 24 hours. Either she deleted it, or enough people reported it that the platform removed it. She sent me a message through a mutual friend asking me to take my post down, claiming it was hurting her professionally. I responded through the same friend that truth doesn't constitute defamation, and I would leave my post up as long as false narratives about me existed anywhere online. 3 days later, I got a call from her mother again. She apologized profusely for her daughter's behavior. She told me her daughter had admitted to the affair, admitted to lying, admitted to using me. Her mother was ashamed and wanted me to know that not everyone in their family condoned what happened. That conversation meant more to me than she probably realized. Being vindicated by someone who had every reason to take their daughter's side felt validating in a way public support never could. Update 3. 2 months after everything imploded, I was finally starting to feel normal again. Work was going well. I had been promoted to a director position, partly because I was putting in extra hours and delivering results. My social life had improved dramatically. Turns out when you're not walking on eggshells around someone's mood swings, you have a lot more energy for genuine friendships. I heard through mutual acquaintances that she had moved in with a new guy, someone with money, someone who could provide the lifestyle she wanted. Part of me felt sorry for him. Another part figured he was an adult who could make his own choices. I had tried to warn people subtly by keeping my evidence post visible, but you can't save everyone from their own mistakes. Then I got an unexpected message from someone claiming to be her roommate from college. She asked if we could talk because she had information I deserved to know. We met for lunch, and she brought receipts. Literal receipts. Apparently, my ex had a pattern. This wasn't her first relationship where she financially benefited while emotionally checking out. In college, she had dated a guy who paid for everything, then cheated on him with his roommate. After college, she had moved in with someone who supported her while she figured out her career path, then left him for someone with better financial prospects. I was number 3 in a clear pattern of behavior. Her former roommate showed me social media posts from years ago, messages where my ex explicitly discussed targeting guys who were financially stable, and stories from other people she had used and discarded. This wasn't opportunism or bad judgment. It was calculated. I asked her why she was telling me all this now. She explained she had seen my ex's abuse post before it got deleted, recognized the gaslighting tactics, and felt guilty for not warning me years ago when they were still friends. They had a falling out over similar behavior, and she had watched my ex repeat the same pattern multiple times since. That information changed something in me. I had been viewing our relationship as a failure, as something I should have handled better. Learning it was a predetermined con rather than a relationship gone wrong was oddly liberating. I wasn't a bad partner. I was a mark. I thanked her for the information and asked if she would be willing to make a statement if needed. She agreed. I forwarded everything to my lawyer, and we sent a final cease and desist with a clear warning that any further defamation would result in legal action with multiple witnesses to her pattern of behavior. I never heard from my ex again directly. I heard she broke up with the new guy after a few months, heard she moved to another city, heard she got engaged to someone else quickly. None of it was my concern anymore. 6 months after that Thursday night in October, I was having dinner with friends when someone asked if I regretted how I handled the breakup. If I thought I had been too harsh by cutting off all her access overnight. I thought about it honestly before answering. I told them I regretted wasting 3 years on someone who saw me as an ATM with emotional labor requirements. I regretted ignoring red flags because I wanted to believe in something that wasn't real. But I didn't regret establishing boundaries the moment I saw the situation clearly. She asked for space, and I gave her exactly what she requested plus the accountability she was avoiding. Some people called it revenge. I called it consequences. She wanted the benefits of a relationship without the respect and fidelity that comes with commitment. When those benefits disappeared, she learned an expensive lesson about taking people for granted. My only role was refusing to be used anymore. The truth is, cutting off her access wasn't about punishing her. It was about respecting myself enough to stop subsidizing someone's life while they disrespected mine. Every bill I paid, every subscription I shared, every convenience I provided was an investment in what I thought was our future together. The moment she revealed there was no future, continuing those investments would have been financial and emotional self-harm. Would I have handled it differently if we had been married? Maybe. Legal and ethical obligations change with formal commitment. But we weren't married. She had no legal claim to services I provided out of love and generosity. When love ended, so did the generosity. That's not cruelty. That's basic self-preservation. I learned something valuable from that relationship. Love should be mutual respect, shared sacrifice, genuine partnership. It shouldn't be one person carrying the weight while the other person complains about the ride. And when someone shows you they don't value what you bring to their life, believe them the first time. These days, I'm dating someone new. She has her own career, pays her own bills, maintains her own independence. When I offer to cover dinner, she thanks me genuinely and covers the next one. When I ask about her plans, she shares them willingly because she wants me involved in her life. There's no defensiveness, no accusations of being clingy, no hidden agendas. Just two people building something together as equals. My ex taught me what I wouldn't tolerate anymore. For that lesson alone, those 3 years weren't completely wasted. Sometimes the best revenge isn't elaborate schemes or public humiliation. Sometimes it's simply refusing to participate in your own disrespect, walking away with your dignity intact, and building a better life without the person who took you for granted. She wanted space. I gave her exactly that, in full HD clarity. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this story, please hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up and share it with friends or family who might enjoy it too. Your support means a lot. And if you have any thoughts, questions, or story ideas, drop them in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. See you in the next story.